The question I get asked more than anything on this channel is what gear should I choose? And it's with good reason. People absolutely love gear. And it's something I've been thinking about for many years. There's a little rule of thumb that I apply to make sure that I always choose the right gear. Let me show you what I mean. So I hope you can hear me over the wind noise. Today I thought I'd come out on a little scout for a bigger project I'm working on in the Black Mountains of Wales. A severely under-photographed area in my opinion, so I'm going to be spending a bit more time up here in the coming months and especially this year through 2025. But as you can tell, it's definitely a scout because we're catching the threat end of Storm Erwan. The storm doesn't actually hit till tomorrow, but the weather front that's before it is what's happening right now. And these are supposed to be the light winds we get before the storm actually hits. This was supposed to be a brief window of opportunity that I could come out and do some photography and get a video while the weather was calm. Should have known better than to come to the mountains of Wales, the Black Mountains especially, these rugged, barren mountains where there's nothing to stop the wind. I think it was a little ambitious bringing a drone with me. Don't think I'll be sending it up today. Not unless I want to lose it, of course. Now, at this point, I was really struggling to find anything to photograph. Not because it wasn't an awesome location. It's a very different location to where I've been to before, and very different location to where many photographers would choose to go for photography. You know, no epic landscapes, no grand scenes. It's just a very barren landscape that tells its own story. And there is a story there to tell, as you're going to find out in a minute in this video. But the mistake I made was that I chose the wrong lens with me. I'd only taken one lens because I wanted to go with the simplest choice possible. Turns out though that that lens was actually, in this case, holding me back. So I can't even begin to describe how remote this place is, but still there is a boathouse out here with a lake and all this ruggedness absolutely everywhere. There is nothing for absolutely miles around, except for me and some derelict buildings. But there is a spot here to come and do some boating if you'd like to. That's actually what I spotted on the map and made me want to come out here for that future project that's coming up. Let's go see what it looks like. So this should be fun to get to. Oh, that is wet. You know what, I actually genuinely don't think I'm going to make it to it. It looks like it's flooded right over. Not without risking getting absolutely stuck. That's a shame, I can't get right to it. It looks like somebody's put a new tin roof on it, even though the actual structure itself is looking pretty ropey. Definitely one to come back to in the summer when this is much drier, because it is absolutely gross here at the moment. In fact, I'm sinking where I'm stood. Let me get back on the actual path. Ugh. I think it'd be a long time before I got rescued here. I don't know if Mountain Rescue even cover here. I'm sure they would. For me, I'd call in a favour. Annoyingly, I can't even get in a good position for a good picture of it. I want to get it sort of straight on so I'm looking directly at it. But that's out in the bog out here to get a proper direct on view. And I ain't going out there today. No. I've got to get home before it goes dark. So that's one to log for summer. I've scouted it out. I know there's potential here. Today's just not the day to do it. That was the whole point in today, is to find out, and today is not the day, but there will be a day. I keep telling myself that anyway. So I've climbed up the bank a bit, and from this angle the sky's gone a really angry blue, that sort of blue you get before a storm, and it contrasts with the colour of these orange grasses down here. It makes the lake look really blue, and the contrasted colour is something I really like. Sort of depicts the rugged moodiness of the conditions today and the location. We're in the depths of winter, darkest time of year, most depressing time of year for most people, and this is a shot that really reflects that. Not to be too arty-farty about it, but I think it really complements the scene well. I know what you're thinking. That didn't look anywhere near as bad to walk through as I made out in that scene. I want to promise you, it looked a lot worse in real life than it did on the video. You just have to take my word for that. Anyway, my cowardice aside. What actually triggered this sort of thought process with this video was that somebody DM'd me on Instagram asking me if they should upgrade to the Canon R7, which is the camera I use for photography. Because he started following my channel because I use the Canon R7, and he was thinking about upgrading from his Nikon. I can't remember what model it was now. He asked me, is it the right thing to, you know, change his camera, change all the lenses he's got, completely switch over his system to enter a new system, the same system that I've got? And my answer to him was, I didn't tell him yes or no, that's his decision to make. But I asked him, what's the simplest choice that you can make? Because quite a common mistake a lot of photographers make, especially beginner photographers, and to be honest, a lot of, you know, long-time photographers, is that we get so obsessed with gear that it almost becomes an obstacle in itself to accomplishing our photography. The gear you choose is far less important than actually where you put yourself for photography. I understand it. We all love gear. I love looking at new cameras to upgrade to, new lenses to buy. And choosing the right camera lens is important because you need to, you know, like what you choose. But more often than not, the simplest choice is the best choice. I upgraded to the Canon R7 simply because it was the simplest choice. There are better cameras out there. There are these days better manufacturers, because Canon, you know, are playing a few games that I'm not particularly a big fan of. Not allowing third-party lenses and that sort of stuff. But it was the simplest choice for me, and as a simple-minded man, that's what I went for. But the simple choice for you is probably something very different. Overcomplicating our decisions means that there's too many choices, and having, you know, choice overwhelm just essentially becomes a barrier to you actually getting out and doing photography. Don't let that happen. If you need to know what gear to buy, go with the simplest choice. Go with the one that you like using when you try it in the shop. Go with the lens that you will probably most likely use and that isn't got loads of complicated features that you'll never use or understand. And in terms of the mistake I made in my gear for this video, I chose a lens that was far too narrow. I didn't match what I needed to the landscape that I was going to. You see, I took my 50mm f1.8 with me, the simplest of all simple lenses, and you think that was the right choice. I certainly did. But I didn't take into account that there were going to be very few subjects to actually photograph. Because I was going to a barren landscape that needed its storytelling, I should have chosen a lens, the simple lens that matched that simple landscape. Now, I love using my 50mm f1.8, as most photographers do. It's a great focal length, but it was the wrong focal length for this place. I should have taken my 24mm f2.8 that I'm using on the Canon now to film this video, because that was the right choice. Wide scenes need a wide lens. Because I wanted to strip back what I had to really simplify how I took my photos, I, in this case, oversimplified it. But essentially, if you're looking about what gear you should buy, the simplest choice is almost always the best choice. I'll see you next time.